Ever feel like the American dream comes with invisible chains called HOA rules? What if the nosiest neighbor decided your private property was actually her personal shortcut? And how far would you go when that smiling clipboard queen turns your quiet backyard into her battlefield? In the picture-perfect cul-de-sac of Willow Creek Estates, California, everything looked harmonious on the surface. Perfectly manicured lawns that could pass military inspection, flags waving like they were auditioning for a commercial, and neighbors who waved with that practiced enthusiasm that screamed, "Mind your business." But underneath that glossy facade lurked the real ruler. The Homeowners Association, and its fearless leader Barbara Whitaker. Barbara wasn't your average busybody. She was a pro. Pearl necklace that probably cost more than my mortgage payment, and a clipboard that might as well have been a scepter, she patrolled the streets like a self-appointed sheriff of suburbia. "We're a community," she'd coo at meetings, her voice dripping with that fake honey that made your teeth hurt. "We look out for each other." Translation: I look out for my rules and you will comply or else. I'm David Reed. My corner lot because I wanted space. The old gravel service path slicing across the southern edge of my property had been there since before the subdivision even existed, some forgotten utility strip from the ranching days. At first it was occasional foot traffic. Then trucks started using it as a shortcut. Then it became a highway for whoever felt like it. I tried being neighborly. I got shrugs. So one bright Thursday morning I did what any red-blooded American with a deed would do. I built a gate. Steel posts sunk deep into concrete, powder-coated black, with a heavy-duty lock that laughed at bolt cutters. It wasn't about being a dick. It was about saying in the clearest terms possible, "This patch of dirt is mine." The welders finished by noon. I stood there, hand on the warm metal, feeling something like peace for the first time in months. My beagle buddy sniffed the base and approved with a wag. Less than 24 hours later, Barbara arrived. Her silver SUV purred up the road like it owned the place. She didn't park politely, she let her tires kiss my dirt line. The window glided down with that electric whisper. "David, honey," she started, all sugar and steel. "Is that installation yours?" She gestured at the gate like it had personally offended her ancestors. "This path is part of our emergency access corridor. It has to come down immediately." I kept my face neutral. Recall seeing that in my deed. Or any emergency vehicles using it in 6 years. Barbara's smile didn't waver. "Our guidelines are very clear, dear. Community safety comes first. We're all in this together, you know." The way she said "together" made it sound like a threat wrapped in a group hug. "I'll double-check the paperwork," I said calmly. Inside, I was already mentally filing this conversation under bullshit level. "Expert. Excellent. I'll give you until Monday." She drove off without waiting for more, leaving tire marks on my grass like a signature. That weekend I didn't sleep much. Gnawing feeling you get when someone tries to gaslight you about your own property. I pulled out my deed. Nothing. County Recorder's Office Monday morning. 2 hours of dusty files and flickering screens later, I had my answer. The emergency corridor was a ghost. A pencil sketch on an old draft map. Never signed, never recorded. Barbara's guideline was pure fantasy. I reinforced the gate that afternoon. New lock. Hidden in a tree. Another on the shed. Just in case her Monday deadline came with friends. It did. Expected. By Wednesday the lock was gone. Open like an invitation. No note. Just Barbara's invisible middle finger. I didn't rage. Patient smile. I replaced the lock with an industrial beast and added 2 more cameras. Then I started logging. Every time. The real show started the next week. Trucks began appearing. Delivery vans, contractor pickups, even a yoga instructor's minivan one afternoon, all treating my trail like their personal driveway. One guy even parked his flatbed right next to my shed to unload materials, For a board member's deck renovation 3 streets over. I watched from the window. Ass? I muttered as Buddy growled low. When I stepped out and politely asked them to leave, the response was classic. Barbara said it was fine. It's for the greater good. Greater good. Finest. These clowns were using life-saving access for patio furniture while the actual fire truck would have to drive around the long way if there ever was a real emergency. Barbara escalated beautifully. Boxes. Urgent community safety reminder. Unobstructed access saves lives. Never naming me directly, but everyone knew. The subtext was loud. David Reed was the selfish bastard endangering grandmas and puppies. One particularly golden flyer claimed my gate could delay an ambulance by precious minutes. I almost laughed out loud. The only ambulance I'd seen was a white van that mysteriously appeared, parked for 20 minutes at Barbara's bestie's house, the one with the new pool, then left without lights or sirens. The patients came out carrying what looked suspiciously like wine coolers and charcuterie boards. I had it all on camera. Plate numbers. The works. The tension built like a pressure cooker. Neighbors started giving me side-eye at the mailbox. Barbara's smile when she drove by got tighter, more brittle. She was losing the narrative war and she knew it. One evening she casually strolled the trail with her phone out, pretending to inspect vegetation. I met her there, phone recording too. Lovely evening for a trespass, Barbara. This is a shared path, David. You can't just lock people out of community resources. Resources on my deed? Funny, the county disagrees. Her eyes flashed for a split second before the mask returned. We'll see what the board thinks about your uncooperative attitude.
Oh, they did.
The board meeting was pure theater. Concerned mother voice, pearls gleaming under the fluorescent lights. We cannot allow one individual to jeopardize the safety of our entire neighborhood. David's gate is not just a fence, it's a statement against community spirit. I sat in the back row, binder on my lap, cameras rolling from my phone. When it was my turn, I didn't shout. I simply projected the footage. Clip 1. The white van rolling through my property, no markings, no hurry. Clip 2. Same van parked at her bestie's house while patients laughed and sipped rose. Clip 3. The clean-cut lock lying in the dirt. Clip 4. Barbara herself strolling my trail, phone out, ignoring the private property signs I'd posted after her first visit. The room went dead silent. That's not an emergency, that's her book club. Wait, she cited the fire code wrong? One neighbor I barely knew whispered loud enough for everyone. I thought we were protecting kids, not her yoga schedule. Barbara's face turned the color of her cardigan. These are taken out of context. I was simply ensuring access for first responders. My attorney might cut in smoothly from the front row. First responders? The county fire marshal just confirmed in writing there is no recorded easement and never was. Your guideline is a draft scribble from 12 years ago. And signed. The motion came fast. It's related to Mr. Reed's property until this is legally resolved. Seconded. Pass 4-1. Or the gavel even finished. Heels clicking like a countdown to her own funeral. No dramatic speech. And the sound of her empire cracking. But she wasn't done. 2 days later the certified letter arrived, threatening a lawsuit against me for creating a hazard. Same old fake statutes. Same old sugar-coated threats. I sent it straight to Mike. She's panicking. We filed first. When the pattern of trespass and defamation became clear. Court day arrived like a slow-motion car wreck everyone saw coming except Barbara. She sat across the aisle in a stiff navy suit, trying to look like the victim while her attorney shuffled papers like they might magically create an easement. My side was simple. County recorder testimony. Hours of time-stamped video proving every emergency was either landscaping for her friends or staged optics. When the judge saw the clip of Barbara herself ignoring the signs while on the phone, He actually raised an eyebrow, the judicial version of, "You gotta be kidding me." "MS," he said, voice flat. "You cited statutes that apply only to public roadways. This is private land. You sent vehicles. You distributed materials that painted Mr. Reed as a danger. Protection. That's overreach." The ruling landed like a guillotine. No easement exists. The HOA using my property. Partial legal fees awarded to me. Barbara's face didn't just fall, it collapsed. She whispered something to her lawyer that sounded suspiciously like, "This can't be happening." Outside in the hallway, Mike clapped my shoulder. "You didn't just win for yourself. You set precedent." Willow Creek. The aftermath was deliciously slow. An HOA audit popped up like magic. Missing minutes, sloppy invoices, several signed only by Barbara. Neighbors who once side-eyed me now nodded with actual respect. One even slipped a note in my mailbox. "Sorry we believed the flyers. We didn't know she was using the path to deliver her wine subscriptions." Barbara resigned 2 weeks later. Others swore they saw her yelling at a barista in the next county. I didn't care. I planted a row of oaks along the property line, living, growing boundaries that would outlast any clipboard queen. Buddy and I walk that path every evening now. No tire tracks. Just quiet gravel and the sound of justice settling in like evening light. Sometimes I still check the cameras out of habit. The alerts have gone silent. Wind through my new trees and the occasional squirrel that never got the memo about HOA rules. Barbara tried to rewrite reality. I just documented it. Evidence always wins. In the end, boundaries aren't just lines on paper. They're what keep the Karens at bay. Next time an HOA smiles too sweetly, grab your camera and your deed. Justice whispers first, then roars. Don't let them rewrite your reality.